A rift tore through the heavens, and from its heart fell a being once adorned in celestial light. The Almighty did not erase him, but cast him down. Why does his presence endure? What ancient decree forbids his unmaking? He falls and keeps falling. There are beings that do not merely exist in the physical world, but lurk within the deepest layers of the unseen. Satan is one such being. His name is not merely a title, but a condition, a rebellion incarnate, an adversary by nature, an entity forever cast into the abyss. He is not the one who fell, but a fallen one, an event not bound to time, an unraveling that has not ceased. Imagine a soul caught in an infinite descent, spiraling downward through unseen chasms, each moment drawing it further from the light. The book of Revelation declares that he was thrown into a bottomless pit, a void without end, where the very essence of existence is stripped away, save for the pride that cast him down. Pride, deceptive in its brilliance, burns like a false sun, consuming from within, turning everything around it to ruin. Look closely, and the omens are inscribed upon the fabric of time. Proverbs 16:18 warns, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." But destruction does not always mean death. It is a slow, insidious decay, a fracture of the soul, a withering of purpose. When pride takes hold of a man, it does not merely blind him to truth. It devours his relationships, suffocates his destiny, and seals shut the doors that God himself has opened before him. But is there a way to escape this endless descent? Could there still be a path that leads back to the light? There is, but only for those who are willing to bow in humility. For he who exalts himself will be brought low, and he who humbles himself will be lifted up. In the beginning, before time as we know it had shape, there was a celestial radiance, a divine order that knew neither fracture nor discord. Yet, from within this harmony, a whisper of defiance arose, a single thought, a ripple in eternity. That thought belonged to one whom the heavens knew as Lucifer, the bearer of light, the most resplendent among the celestial host. But in his heart, where once dwelled unyielding devotion, there festered a hunger, an unholy yearning to rise beyond the order set by the Eternal One. Lucifer was not merely dissatisfied, he was inflamed with the desire to be more. No longer content to serve, he longed to be served. No longer willing to reflect the divine, he sought to become divine. And so the great rebellion was ignited. He whispered his poisoned dreams to his brethren, weaving a net of deception so fine that multitudes of angels, beings of once pure luminescence, were ensnared. What followed was no mere battle of might, but a war of wills, a clash of cosmic consequence. The heavens trembled as Michael, the great warrior of the Almighty, led the charge, his blade of celestial fire cutting through the abyssal wings of the fallen. The air thundered with cries both defiant and desperate, as those who once sang in harmony now turned upon each other in divine conflict. But the dominion of the Most High cannot be overthrown. Lucifer, now stripped of his former radiance, was cast down, his essence hurled from the heavens like a star ripped from the firmament. And yet he was not destroyed. No, his kind, those formed in the likeness of spirit, cannot simply cease to be. This is the nature of divine law. What is birthed from eternity remains. The fallen were not erased but exiled, their forms bound to a realm where they would no longer bask in the radiance of the Almighty. Yet let not the unwise mistake the fallen angels for demons, for their nature is not the same. The demons are whispers without form, forsaken spirits that lurk in the shadows of existence, feeding upon the weaknesses of humankind. They are wretched, disembodied remnants of what once walked the earth in ancient times. But the fallen angels, those who followed Lucifer in rebellion, still bear their celestial essence, albeit now cloaked in darkness. They are not mere spectres, they are beings of great power, existing between realms, neither mortal nor bound by the limitations of flesh. They walk among the unseen, their presence felt in the tremors of despair and the allure of temptation. One may ask, why does the Almighty allow such beings to endure? Why not obliterate them in righteous fire? The answer lies in the divine mystery of free will. Just as man was given the power to choose between light and shadow, so too were the angels. To revoke existence as punishment for choice would be to undo the very fabric of creation. The Creator does not erase, he repurposes. Even in rebellion, there is purpose. Even in darkness, the hand of the divine is at work. Thus the adversary lingers, not as an equal to God, not as a true rival, but as a tool in a story far greater than we can yet understand. The fallen are not dead, for they cannot die, but they remain, watching, waiting, whispering. And so the battle continues, not upon celestial plains where angels clashed in radiant fury, but within the hearts and souls of mankind, where the greatest war of all is waged. The fall of Lucifer, a cosmic descent into darkness, and the eternal struggle of the soul. There exists a moment in the vast annals of eternity, a fracture in the divine order, where a being of celestial radiance dared to defy the infinite. Lucifer, the bringer of light, the morning star, once stood in the throne room of the Most High, adorned in the very essence of divine wisdom and splendor. But as the ripples of pride stirred within him, his light became shadow, his harmony turned to discord, and his ascent became an eternal descent. The book of Isaiah speaks of this fall in cryptic tones, as if whispering an ancient warning to all who dare elevate themselves beyond their destined place. How you have fallen from heaven, O day star, son of the dawn! How you are cast down to the earth, you who once laid nations low! You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven above the stars of God. I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly in the far reaches of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But you are brought down to Sheol, to the far reaches of the pit. What is this tale, if not the story of every soul who seeks to grasp divinity by force, only to find itself lost in the abyss of its own making? Lucifer's fall is not merely a past event, it is an archetype, a blueprint of the cosmic tension between free will and divine order, between enlightenment and self-deception. In the book of Ezekiel, the prophecy unveils more of this celestial tragedy. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You walked among the stones of fire. You were blameless from the day you were created until iniquity was found in you. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. So I cast you down to the earth, I exposed you before kings, that they might gaze upon you. A divine paradox unfolds. Lucifer, once the most exalted, became the lowest. Yet even in his fall he was not annihilated, but allowed to exist. Why? Because in the grand scheme of the universe, all things serve a purpose, even those that seem to stand in opposition to the divine. Just as fire refines gold, opposition refines the soul. And so, we must ask, does Lucifer's descent mirror our own? How often does pride blind us? How often does the illusion of self-sufficiency draw us away from our true path? The same seed of pride that once took root in the heart of the morning star lurks in the hearts of all who walk the earth today. But as the scriptures whisper, destruction is not always the end. The soul can be redeemed. The story of Lucifer's fall is not merely an ancient account of rebellion. It is a living allegory, a warning and an invitation. Will you choose pride and fall deeper into shadow? Or will you embrace humility and ascend back to the divine? The choice has always been ours, as it was his. To uncover the answer, we must step beyond the veil of the ordinary and gaze into the eternal essence of the divine. For God is not merely a force, nor a distant overseer. He is the very foundation of all existence, the unshaken pillar of eternity. His nature is immutable, unchanging as the celestial spheres that dance in the firmament. If one seeks to understand his actions, one must first understand his essence, for what he does is but a reflection of who he is. The first truth that must be grasped is this: God is omnipotent. His power is the breath of the universe, the rhythm that pulses through the unseen threads of creation. No entity, no being, whether celestial or fallen, can rise beyond its creator. As a candle's flame cannot challenge the brilliance of the sun, so too can no force rival the infinite. And yet, through the whispers of time, there exists a grave misconception that Satan is God's equal adversary, locked in an eternal struggle for dominion. But this is an illusion, a shadow cast by the great deceiver himself. Consider this: if the Almighty so willed, could he not erase Satan with but a mere thought? The clash between heaven's radiant host and the rebels' legions was never a battle of equals. No, it was a cosmic decree, a moment when light cast out darkness with effortless supremacy. God's dominion was never threatened. His will was never at stake. The true mystery is not whether God could destroy Satan, but why he has allowed his presence to persist. Could it be that even the adversary serves a purpose within the grand design? Could the great architect of all things have woven into his masterpiece the very shadow that contrasts the light? For in the deepest night the stars burn brightest. And so it is that Satan, though fallen, may yet play a role, perhaps as a test, a refining fire through which the faithful are strengthened, or perhaps his continued existence is a testament to the divine law of free will, for love cannot be coerced, and true devotion must arise from choice, not command. The answer to these mysteries lies not in doctrine alone, but in the quiet stirrings of the soul. Look within. Feel the pulse of creation, the breath of the eternal moving through you. The war is not fought in distant heavens alone. It rages within the very fabric of existence, in the hearts of those who seek truth. And in that seeking, we find not a battle of gods, but the unwavering supremacy of one who was and is and ever shall be, the eternal sight of the divine. There is a truth beyond mortal comprehension. God is all-knowing. His awareness stretches beyond the veils of time, past the fragile limits of human reason. Every whisper of existence, every flicker of thought, and every secret buried in the heart of man lies open before him, as though cast upon an infinite celestial mirror, reflecting the past, present, and future in a single unbroken moment. Unlike any being that has ever been or ever will be, he perceives not as man does, but as one who stands beyond the constraints of beginning and end. What to us is uncertainty, to him is a story already written. The rise and fall of stars, the silent sigh of an unseen traveler, the temptation in the heart of a king, all is known, all is observed. The scriptures speak little of why Satan, the once radiant bearer of light, fell into the abyss of rebellion. Yet, within the boundless sight of the Almighty, there was no question left unanswered. Satan's pride was not a single moment of defiance, but a slow descent, a dimming flame lost in the void of his own desires. God, in his infinite wisdom, saw not only the act, but the intent, not only the rebellion, but the slow corrosion of a soul that had once dwelled in the presence of divine radiance. Could he have extinguished Satan in an instant? Yes. But what lesson is learned when the teacher removes the student before the trial has even begun? The Creator does not hastily shatter what he has formed. He observes, with a patience beyond time, the unfolding of all things. A father does not cast aside a son for his folly, but rather watches, allowing him to walk the path he has chosen, hoping for his return. Satan's existence is not a mistake. It is a shadow cast only because there is light. To us, it seems unfathomable, an enigma woven into the fabric of the unseen. But to God, who sees all, even the darkness has its purpose. Free will, the sacred gift in the journey of the soul across the boundless expanse of the universe, where light and shadow dance upon the fabric of time, there exists an ancient law, one that not even the most celestial beings can break, the law of divine order. This law governs all creation, granting each soul, from the most radiant angel to the smallest wandering spirit, the gift of choice, the freedom to ascend into the light or descend into the abyss. In the primordial dawn, when the stars whispered the first divine prophecies, the angels were not merely created to sing praises, but to choose their path. Among them was one whose brilliance surpassed the rest, standing at the peak of the sacred fire mountain, where the gateways to infinite realms lay open. But he was not content with merely reflecting the light of the Creator. He desired to command it, and so he stepped down from the mountain's summit, plunging into the depths of exile, where lost souls wander in endless twilight. But ponder this: why did the Creator, in his infinite power, not obliterate the one who defied him? Because to destroy a soul is to deny the very essence of divine love. Free will is the foundation of true love. A being cannot love if there is no choice between devotion and defiance. We witness this truth in the moments of our own existence. Love cannot be forced, it must be given freely. Growth cannot occur without challenge. Thus, the universe leaves a door open even for the fallen, not to excuse their defiance, but to allow the possibility of return. The divine law does not punish with instant destruction, for true justice is not the annihilation of the unworthy, but the endless opportunity for a soul to define its own destiny. And so the question is not why Satan was not destroyed, but rather, is your soul strong enough to pass through darkness and find its way back to the light? The eternal dance of light and shadow. There exists a profound mystery in the realm beyond mortal comprehension. Why did the divine architect permit the adversary and his legion to linger after their great rebellion? Could it be that even in defiance, they served a purpose far greater than their own understanding? From the moment of his fall, the one known as Satan became more than a mere adversary. He became a vessel of trial, a force through which the divine could be revealed in its fullest measure. In the sacred chronicles of the New Testament, we glimpse the celestial design at work. When the Anointed One walked the desolate wilderness, Satan emerged, veiled in deception, whispering temptations of power and dominion. 3 times he sought to bend the Son of Man to his will, yet 3 times he was met with unwavering resolve. Was this merely a test, or was it the manifestation of a divine truth? Proof that holiness, unshaken by darkness, was worthy to bear the sins of the world. For in the great cosmic balance, light is not known without shadow. Just as the night accentuates the brilliance of the stars, so too does the adversary's presence accentuate the radiance of the divine. The sacrifice upon the cross was not an act of tragedy, but the fulfillment of a design stretching beyond time itself. The unblemished took the place of the fallen, an exchange ordained since the dawn of creation. And yet the adversary's role did not end in the wilderness. He wove his whispers into the heart of Judas Iscariot, setting into motion the final act of the divine plan. But was this betrayal merely the work of darkness, or was it the unseen hand of destiny itself? Had Satan not moved within Judas, who then would have played the role of the betrayer, and how would the prophecy have been fulfilled? Here lies the enigma. Satan, the outcast, the rebel, became an unwitting instrument in the grand orchestration of redemption. Could it be that the Creator, in infinite wisdom, allowed this being to persist not as a rival, but as a counterbalance? The great paradox unfolds. The darkness serves the light even as it seeks to consume it. The adversary, though lost in his own delusion of defiance, remains bound to the cosmic design. His existence, a testimony to the immutable law, that nothing, not even rebellion, exists outside the will of the divine. Satan was not merely a fallen angel. He was once a radiant light, now consumed by an abyss without end. Once he stood amidst the splendor of God's presence, but pride became his undoing, sending him plummeting like a star torn from the heavens, dragging legions of his kind into the eternal void. His rebellion was not just an act, it was a fate he wrote with his own arrogance. And when the war in heaven reached its climax, Satan and his loyal followers were not destroyed, but cast into exile, eternal beings severed from the light. But why? Why did the Almighty, with boundless power, not erase the existence of the defiant? Could it be that Satan still had a role to play in the grand design of redemption? Perhaps he was not merely a rebel, but also an instrument of trial, a refining fire that tests and tempers the souls of men. His fall was not an ending, but a warning, a sign that even the most exalted can descend into darkness if pride consumes the heart. God did not destroy Satan because love cannot exist without choice. Free will is not simply a gift. It is the foundation upon which true love stands. If God annihilated all who rejected him, then love would be meaningless. It would be compulsion, not devotion. And so, Satan remains, a testament to the freedom granted to all creation, the freedom to choose light or shadow, to embrace or forsake. But if even Satan was given time to turn back, to awaken to the path he abandoned, then what of us? We, who walk the thin line between light and darkness, do we truly understand the sacred weight of our choices? Or are we drifting like wayward stars into the unknown? The mysteries of the unseen continue to unfold. If this journey has stirred your soul, join us on Path to the Unknown, where the veil between worlds grows thin and ancient truths whisper through time. Subscribe now and step deeper into the mysteries that shape our existence.